Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at if Man City had been relegated and deducted 12 points with the transfer ban, how they would get on. So before we get started and stuck into things, if you do enjoy experiments and you would like to watch a few more things that will be coming out over the few weeks, please hit that like and subscribe button and enjoy and jump into the channel with me. So let's go straight into things and explain a little bit about what's happened here. So I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if when Man City were having those issues with the transfer dealings and the FA were looking into things and all that sort of thing, if they had actually been banned, relegated and deducted points, a bit like when Juventus got told off for being a bit naughty. So that's exactly what we've done. We haven't changed any of the players in the club, as you can see there. Kevin De Bruyne is still there, Fernandinho, all that good stuff, and Pep's still at the club at this stage. But they have been relegated to the Championship with minus 12 points, as well as a transfer ban to the 2023 season. So we will see how they get on. My prediction for this, nothing will really change. They'll go straight up, they'll come out of that transfer ban and they'll go back to normal. That's what I reckon will happen. I don't think they'll be getting rid of many players, and we'll take a look. We'll see how it goes and we'll go from there. So let's jump straight into a year in the future. Okay, so looking at the Championship, Man City did win it. They won it by a landslide, really. Only losing one game all season. They have absolutely smashed the lead. It was expected. They could have won it by a lot more points if they didn't have that 12-point deduction. Let's take a look at the club. So Pep Guardiola is still there. Looks like very much the team that started, and they are now in the Premier League as expected. Did they get rid of any players really at that time? Doesn't look like it. Nothing that's a surprise or anything like that. Obviously Aguilar was had already come into the club on that season, and he was coincidentally loaned out this year. But it's interesting. They have gone straight back up. They have still got that transfer ban, so I don't know if the transfer ban will have much of an effect over the next 2 years. I'm pretty sure that they'll just power through, get to the top of the table, and carry on as they were. It's interesting that no players did leave. They all stuck around. They were like, we are going to get promoted, so it's no issue there. Let's take a look at their schedule, in fact, and see kind of what results they did have. Because they were also removed from the Champions League. That was one of the rulings of the FA or UEFA, was that they aren't allowed to enter the Champions League whilst being in the Championship. So it looks like they were very comfortable. They got to the fourth round of the Carabao quarterfinals, semi-final, final, or FA Cup semi-final. So they won the FA Cup whilst in the Championship. Look at that. They only lost to QPR 1-0. Otherwise, absolutely smashing the league. They lost to Man United on penalties in the Carabao Cup semi-final. There it is. But otherwise, they've absolutely dominated. It's been a hell of a season for them, and they're back in the Prem. Let's jump again another season in, see if they're back to the top of the table or if there's any little changes. Okay, now it does just look like they're a force to be reckoned with once again. Okay, they didn't quite win the league with being 9 points away from Chelsea at the top, but it's quite clear it hasn't affected them at this point. They're second in the table. Pep's still the manager, playing that 4-3-3 that he loves. Let's see transfer-wise. Has there been any more changes? They have sold £115 million worth of players. So Gabriel Jesus has left for Paris Saint-Germain. Herrera, Angelino, Harrison. Nothing really otherwise that's any surprise. I mean, they've kept hold of all the players still. Gundogan looks like he's wanting to leave for a new challenge, but again, there's no issue there for them. They have got one more year of the transfer ban, so I don't know if any more players might be sold and then maybe struggle next year, but I wouldn't believe so. Look at that. They're second in the table. They'll be hitting Champions League football easy. But let's take a quick look. All right, so they've dropped to third. That's the only real change there. Only just as well. They were on the same points, only losing out on goal difference. Now, there is a bit of a change to the lineup. You've got Delap up top with Ilic in the middle now. I don't know if that's been affected because of the transfer ban and that they've sold a couple of players maybe. So that was the season we've just seen. What have we got? Riyad Mahrez left. Otherwise, doesn't look like anyone's really gone anywhere. An interesting decision maybe to play them there. You've got Kyle Walker still there, Cancelo, Zinchenko, Mendy, Rodri, Gundogan, De Bruyne is still around. So Bernardo Silva. He's still got all these players that are performing at the highest level. It's no real surprise. Pep Guardiola's still there, still spending 155,000 on those wages. They'll have even more money than ever now with that ban. They're third in the table. What we'll do now then is we'll jump 2 more years into the future, just to see once they're out of that ban, if they do splash that cash, if they do bring anyone big in, and if they do win the title, having been down just 5 years ago. They were down in the championship with minus 12 points. Would they jump back and be back at the top of the table? Ooh, wow. So they finished 4th the season after, and the season just gone, they finished 5th. So they didn't get into the Champions League places. Chelsea has been absolutely running away with a bunch of titles on this save, but that's interesting. I'd have thought they'd have just been able to power through, but maybe it is a case that they haven't been able to. Pep's still there. There's no real difference in that front, and they have spent a load of money. So they did bring in 82 million, sent in Ake and Mendy, along with Hayward Bellis and Aguero going back to Argentina. But they did bring in a bunch of players. They brought in Nicolas Sewell from Dortmund, Barrow from Bologna, Grealish came in for £50 million, Lewis Cook, Fiorentino Luis, Theo Hernandez. So they've brought in Luke Shaw from Jiangsu, who went to China. Interesting. So they've spent a load of money. They spent 319 million in that season that they came back. What about the year after? So this is the year that they missed out on Champions League football. They spent 284 million and sold 123. They sold Fiorentino Luis straight away. The season after, Ferran Torres has also gone to Tottenham. Patrick De Paula went to Sheffield United. He's a decent Brazilian little player as well. Luke Shaw left as well. This is John Stones moving off to Burnley, Cole Palmer to Wolves. But yeah, they spent 284 million. Maxi Gomez, Giro Toure and Odson Edouard being the biggest names, with Dodo there as well. Aaron Hickey as well coming in. Kepa from Chelsea. Wow, so they've spent so much money, but they have not been able to. That's so interesting. They were doing so well with the transfer ban. It seems like the transfer ban has just caused them to bring in so many players that they haven't been able to kind of bond and gel together, which has led to them not performing anywhere near the level they probably should be. Phil Foden's now their key player, which in real life could absolutely be a thing. But that's certainly an interesting outcome. I wasn't expecting that. I thought they'd be able to push on a lot more with that, having come out of that transfer ban. But if anything, they've got worse. So with that, and on that bombshell, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Like I said before, if you do enjoy experiments on Football Manager, then hit that like and subscribe button. There will be more coming out on the weekends over the next few weeks, and we will see you next time. Thank you very much, and goodbye.